I live in Hanalei Bay, and I've surfed Hanalei, scuba dove, spearfished, and kayaked for many, many years now. Hanalei Bay is a very, very unique surf spot. It's one of the best waves I've ever ridden in my entire lifetime. But you can be out on a day here and surf with Billy Hamilton and his dog Sava, or a day later or 2 days later be surfing on some of the biggest, best waves in the world with some of the best surfers in the world. When I first moved to Hanalei Bay a number of years back, the reefs were quite healthy. Out on a place called the Bowl and the Point in summer break, there's a cliff that drops off about 40 feet deep and comes up to about 10 feet from under the surface. All along this cliff has world-class waves that we ride all winter when the surf's up. During the summer, I usually do my scuba diving studies and videos of the coral reef out here in Hanalei Bay to check on its health. One really unique and beautiful part of Hanalei Bay, right out in front of the St. Regis Hotel, is a turtle cleaning station. What that is where these big green sea turtles, some of them up to 4 feet long and weighing 300 pounds, they come into the shallow reef and they take their flippers and just hang them off to the side. They put out their tail and their neck, and then small fish come in and clean all the algae off the turtle's shell and body. It's really a cool thing to watch, and us scuba divers and biologists call it a turtle cleaning station. Right at the summer break in front of the St. Regis, there's usually about 8 to 10 sea turtles there at any given time during the summer when the waves are small, getting cleaned. I love visiting this spot, and I've been doing high-def video of the reef here for over 6 years. And we have had an outbreak of a very, very deadly and dangerous bacteria called a cyanobacteria. And it's been killing a lot of the rice corals in Hanalei Bay and also along the entire north shore of Kauai. The rice corals grow pretty flat on top of the reef. A lot of people don't actually see the rice corals or pay attention to them when they snorkel because they just grow over the top of the reef, and in places they kind of just look like the rocks. But also out in Hanalei Bay, we have these giant corals that are called mound corals and lobe corals. These corals can get up to 8 or 10 foot tall and weigh over 3 tons apiece. We know from testing some of these corals can live all the way up to 3,000 to 4,000 years old. Pretty amazing, really. They take many, many, many years to grow to this enormous size. On the reef at Hanalei, we have dozens and dozens and dozens of these large mound corals. In one area about the size of a football field, I've counted over 500 of them when I went out there on a series of scuba dives and took video. Lately, these mound corals are turning into what looks like dissolving dirt clods underwater and basically melting right onto the top of the reef. This is a scenario I don't think any of us scientists have ever seen before in the Hawaiian Islands, and it's very disturbing. This area at summer break out in front of the St. Regis, I took Dr. Greta Abbey from the University of Hawaii, Dr. Terry Work from the USGS Infectious Disease Department, and also Dr. Bernardo Angel from NOAA out to this spot over the last 2 summers to do some survey work and count how many of the corals were diseased. In this survey, we counted about 2 to 10% of the reef was infected by this cyanobacterial disease. But that was only on the rice corals. These giant mound corals a year ago looked incredibly healthy without any problems whatsoever. As you can see, when I'm going very slowly here holding the camera, going from giant coral to giant coral, you can see the dark brown blotches on these corals that look like chocolate. That's where the coral is actually died and is disintegrating. The light brown or yellow part of the coral is the remaining live part of the coral. But what's very disturbing when I watch this video after being out there and seeing this area for many years and taking the video myself is that there's almost no mound corals that are surviving and healthy. All of this happened within the last year. As I go up and down the entire reef here and take pictures and videos of all the different coral species, most of them are unhealthy. Some of these giant mound corals, because of their weight, have even collapsed and fallen off the reef completely and are upside down on the muddy seafloor. I've done over 5,000 scuba dives in my life and been around the world studying coral reefs. I've done over 1,000 scuba dives in Kauai alone, and I've never seen anything like this before. Also, the big antler corals, they're branching corals that get up to about 4 foot tall, are also dying and becoming covered with mud and disintegrating out here on the reef at Summers. I've taken friends out to this spot over the last 10 years, and we've always marveled at how beautiful it was, with these big antler corals, these giant colorful mound corals, and all the sea turtles there being cleaned. But when I shot this video just a couple days ago, that's all changed. What is happening to the reef out here at Summers? We don't know. One thing we do know is it's dying very quickly and it's dissolving. It appears that the calcium carbonate skeletons of the corals are breaking apart and basically turning into mud. We've been studying now for 3 years the die-off of the reefs on the north shore of Kauai and still haven't figured out yet what's causing it. We know that some of the bacteria, like the cyanobacteria, are preying on the corals, but we only think that's just because the corals are in a weakened state. They've lost their immune system. Then whatever's there to gobble them up is going to gobble them up. Okay, why did the corals lose their immune system? This is something that I hope this video, being shown to all the scientists throughout the world, and all the divers and all the people that may have some expertise on coral reefs so they can give the feedback, so we can collectively get together and figure out what in the world is killing the corals along the north shore of Kauai and out here in Hanalei Bay. We're aware of that we have chemicals that are running off of our farmlands. Some of those chemicals produced by some of the genetic engineering companies are very dangerous. They've been proven to kill reefs in other parts of the world, but we don't know for sure that that's the cause here. We also have a big military presence here that's using a lot of sonic underwater blasting technologies for warfare, and we also have high-powered microwave towers up on the cliffs here in Kauai, and we know that microwaves, when they hit ocean water, can change the chemistry of the ocean water and potentially dissolve a coral reef. We don't know for sure, once again, that that's what's happening here. These are only theories, but you have to start somewhere. As I leave the reef, after taking video of over 100 giant corals that are dissolving, I come back to the sea turtles as they're peacefully looking at me, unalarmed, while they're being cleaned. They're very special creatures, and sometimes I feel responsible when they look in my eyes as if they're saying, "Why are you people ruining our habitat? We didn't do anything wrong." And I have to look back at them and just say, I'm going to do the best that I can to make a change on that. Thank you for watching.